So, I hate Piers Morgan. I absolutely hate the man. And it's not because he hacked into a dead child's phone to get a story and then fucked off to America so that he wouldn't have to deal with the consequences, although that is a damn good reason to hate the man. It's because he's a liar. It's because he's a bigot. It's because he's a rapist. Not a rapist, a racist. And it's because he's a hypocrite. And you can tell this when you watch the interviews that he does or that he sits in on with someone from the left and someone from his camp. So when Steve Bannon, who is a disgusting human being on every fucking level, when Steve Bannon had his interview with Piers gave him nothing but softballs and easy to answer friendly questions. Things like, so you gave us Trump. Trump's great, isn't he? And crap like that. Yes, he's a massive supporter of Trump. Amazing. But then when you see him with people who, on the left, who are protesting Trump's visit, his go-to seems to be, well, you didn't protest Obama though, did you? And a lot of the time the response is, yeah, we did. We absolutely protested Obama because there's a lot of things that Obama did that we hate. Oh yeah, but you didn't protest against Obama though, did you? Yeah, we did. And he will keep saying the same thing as if the person hasn't answered or if he knows something that no one else in the entire universe knows. But he's an incredibly arrogant person, so he probably believes that. But recently he's done an interview with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a revolting, disgusting human being on every single level. So what would this hard-hitting journalist, this saviour of media, what would he do in this interview? Softball questions and figuratively suck the man off. That's what we saw in this interview. So a number of things came up. I'm not going to go through it all because I haven't got the time, and quite frankly my blood pressure would go through the roof and I'd end up breaking stuff. But one of the things Piers asked very softly about was climate change. And he did this because Prince Charles. Yeah, I struggle with monarchy names. Prince Charles was talking to Trump for quite a while about climate change. Now, I'm not a royalist in any way, shape or form, but I do give the man props for even attempting that. Donald Trump is an incredibly stupid man, and that takes a lot of patience to do. But historically, Donald Trump has said numerous times very proudly that he thinks it's a hoax. He thinks climate change was invented by the Chinese. It's important to note that media hasn't helped this, but in the scientific world, there is no doubt, and there has never been a doubt about climate change. There has never been a doubt about the catastrophe we are reaching, the imminent danger that is right there. And scientists have been warning us for years. The only ones that haven't are scientists who don't have particular degrees in that field and have been shown to be on the take from fossil fuel industries, which is why I have to say it's 99% of scientists, not 100%. But in the academic world, there is no shadows of doubt whatsoever. Climate change is real. We need to be fucking doing something. But Donald Trump has said historically that it's an absolute hoax. It's nonsense. But in this particular interview, he came out and said, well, if you look at America, it has the best climate in the world. It has the best air and the cleanest water, crystal clean water. Flint, Michigan has an incredible problem with their water supply. And they've had it since the Obama administration. This started under Obama. But Donald Trump has done absolutely nothing about it whatsoever. In fact, because nothing's been done, this problem has now spread to areas around Michigan. Now, the issue is lead in the water. Nothing has been done about it. But that means that the water that comes from the tap has now become so toxic it is now giving young children brain damage because lead is really not good for human beings. You can't drink it because it will kill you. You bathe in it and it will start to affect your mental health. It will take you on a downward spiral. And if you're a young kid, baby, something like that, well, that's going to give you brain damage. And then you're fucked for the rest of your life. Any journalist worth his weight in salt would have brought this up with Donald Trump, because this isn't an unknown thing. This has been happening for years, and Piers should love it because it happened under Obama. But Piers didn't challenge this one bit. He didn't challenge the fact that Donald Trump thinks to get clean energy, you take coal out of the earth and then just wash it with soap, and then it's clean. He didn't challenge the fact that Donald Trump said publicly that wind turbines give you cancer. He didn't challenge the fact that Donald Trump is so dumb that he thinks no one's going to want wind turbines because if there's no wind, people can't watch TV. But these are all things that Trump has said. And Piers did nothing to challenge this whatsoever. Another thing he brought up was bone spurs. Now, this is kind of a hot topic for me. I disagree with the majority of wars. I'm very lefty, I'm very hippie. But there's a difference between disagreeing with the wars and disrespecting the troops. The men and women that choose to go into the military should never be disrespected for that choice. There are crimes that have happened and they do need to be resolved. But anyone who joins the military is worthy of noting of that. Donald Trump got out of service of Vietnam. He got out of joining up because of bone spurs. Now, this is a man who played American football in college. Okay. Now, you can say it developed after that. It was about the same age, but you can say it developed after that. Last year, the story broke that completely blew it out of the water. First off, on the campaign trail, Donald Trump couldn't even remember which foot had bone spurs. It might have been the left, it might have been the right, he didn't know. That's important. But last year, a story broke. The doctor who wrote Donald Trump's get out of Vietnam free card lived in an apartment building owned by Fred Trump, Donald Trump's father. And it was a joke in the building that anything you needed doing to the building, you would just go to the doctor because he had a direct line to Fred Trump. Part of the agreement was this doctor would sign this bit of paper, meaning that Fred Trump's son, the elitist coward, wouldn't go to Vietnam. And in return, anything that happened in the building, Fred Trump would be on it like that. Again, Piers didn't bring anything like that up. And when Donald Trump started off rambling, saying, oh, well, you know, I wasn't really a fan of that war anyway. And no one even knew where Vietnam was. Nothing but silence. And that goes to play into the arrogance of Donald Trump. Donald Trump walks into any room and thinks that he's the smartest man in there about any given subject. He walks into NASA and thinks he's the smartest man about astrophysics. He can walk into MIT and think he's the smartest man there. He genuinely believes he's smart when he's dumber than a wet bag of mice. This man does not read more than one page. I mean, hell, his daily briefings... Bit of context, I've said this before. Obama's daily briefings were criticised mostly by Fox News, who else, because they were so short. Now, they were either 500 pages or 800 pages. But we'll go lowball. We'll say 500. And Obama was criticised because that was way, way too short of a daily briefing. Within a couple of months, Trump had his daily briefings down to one page that was mostly pictures and graphs. The last time he came over to Europe, European politicians were told by Trump staffs that if you want Trump to read anything, you have to load whatever the text is with Donald Trump's name, because that's the only way he's going to read it. This man, I honestly don't know what he has more of. Arrogance or inintelligence. I realise that may not actually be a word, but it's a word now because I say so. The point is, the man is incredibly dumb and incredibly arrogant, and any journalist worth their weight in salt would have called him out for all of the bullshit that he was spewing. They would have called him out for locking children in cages and then deporting the parents without paperwork so that these children will never be reunited with their parents. Any journalist would have pointed out, hey, you said Nazis were very fine people. You still stand by that? Any journalist would have pointed out the slew of horrors we've had from Donald Trump since 2016. I mean, hell, the first thing you should go to is the goddamn Mueller report, which did not exonerate Donald Trump. And again, I have a video on that, but I saw this interview just before I was about to post that video. So I may have to redo that one. But the Mueller report said the Trump administration lied so much he couldn't wrap up the investigation. That Donald Trump clearly obstructed justice no fewer than 8 times. Again, Piers Morgan didn't challenge him on any of this crap because he is as loathsome as Donald Trump. Finally, one last little bit. Now, I've said I'm not a royalist. I'm not. I genuinely have no opinions about the royals whatsoever, except for the fact that they're an incredibly wealthy family and a lot of their wealth is kept among them. I do not agree that we have to pay to restore Buckingham Palace. They have the money to do it themselves. But if you are anyone in a position of power, of authority, and you're doing something to help, then I'm all for it. The Prince's Trust, I think, is a good thing. I wish we saw more of it. And Prince Charles doing what he's doing with climate change. Again, you can critique him. You can say he can be doing a lot more. But the fact that he's doing something is worthy, because most people in power aren't. But Donald Trump was stunned that Prince Charles cared enough about future generations that he would even do anything. That is the person Donald Trump is. If it doesn't affect him, you can go fuck yourself. That's his attitude. I still don't understand why people in 2019 support Donald Trump. There is no excuse. There is no redeeming quality to this man. There is no silver lining. He is a scumbag on every single level, and pricks like Piers Morgan keep propping that son of a bastard up. For what?